Hello.
Hi.
I'm Evan.
I'm Sam.
And thanks again for coming to week 2 of Continuing Swing Condensed Summer Version. So this week we primarily focused on different kinds of stretches that you can do. We talked about stretches that come across the body, stretches that are more like a twist, and then ones that happen in motion down a line. You done?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So we started off by doing a variation on what we taught last week. So instead of the leader goes, we're going to do the follow goes. So that starts from this side-by-side position, and the rock step happens slightly at an angle. So not straight to the side and not straight back like the leader goes, but just a little bit at a diagonal. So if I let Sam go, she just sort of continues across the front of my body like that. And we're going to use it so that we can do this. 1, 2, 3, and 4, 5, and 6. So 1, 2, 3, and 4, 5, and 6. And so you can chain that together with the leader goes. So you can go 1, 2, 3, and 4, 5, and 6. The follow goes 2, and 4, 5, and 6. Just a different take on that. The important thing for this is to make sure that as you're doing the stretch, leaders, you let your right arm slide a little bit across the follow's back. So it'll go a little bit out, not so far that we're extending our shoulders or anything, and not so far that follows feel like you gotta have your butt sticking out, but just enough so that you can really leverage this stretchy quality.
And follows, you don't have to make this opening up happen. As long as you're seeking this connection with your leader, you will feel the somewhat to the side motion.
Yeah. So moving on from that, we did a tuck turn, but we talked about doing a tuck turn more punchy. So if you remember, tuck turn is just going to be our boom, ba, ba, boom, ba, boom, ba, boom, ba, boom. So the distinction between this kind of stretch and the previous one is rather than coming off at a diagonal, I'm just going to basically open my arm around my shoulder, kind of like a door opening, and I'm going to use the counter motion of my own twisting, boom, to get my follow to twist. So I'm just opening my arm, but while we're doing this the whole time, we have this nice connection through our arms, and we will use this to make a nice stretch to go out and then compress again as we come inside. Let's actually turn around so you can see from the other side. So my hand is sliding a little bit whoop, onto Sam's side. So what I've made here basically is a pretend pole from her shoulder to her foot around which she gets to pivot. So boop, 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 just a pivot point. And if we have a good strong connection here and a good stretch and this connection through here, Sam will not feel the urge to step back with her left foot, which allows this to become a twist instead of just stepping back and forth.
And follows, once again, as long as you're seeking this connection on your back, and as long as you keep your arm connected through your leader's arm, you don't have to make this opening happen. However, when you come back in for the compression, you are half of this motion. So here is somewhere where you can somewhat decide, am I going to go out with some intensity or what have you?
Yeah. And so on that compression, we're going to use that energy to go through the outside turn. So it shouldn't be anything that you feel the need to stir. It's just something that happens. So 1, 2, woo, ah, boom, like that.
Ah, mercy!
The last thing we did was to add a sort of a side rock step onto that you can use to transition out of this or just on its own. We started off with the exercise just looking like this, where we go out and cross, using our triple steps, ba, boom, ba. And on every step, we are doing a rock step away from each other, and there's a very small compression in the middle. Boom, compression, stretch, compression, boom, compression. And then we can use that to lead into either a free spin or a J hook, depending on how much you're traveling. The free spin is just where we use this first stretch, build up momentum, boom, and we're going to stop about halfway through that prep. 1, 2, prep. I'm lifting the follow's hand and kind of turning it forward, so I'm pushing against the flat part right here. and then that makes a lot of energy, and it's basically just a flat surface against which I get to toss the follow around. Go ahead.
And fellows, on this turn, we talked about how you have to get this foot almost all the way across your body and be facing basically away from your leader before you even finish your triple step.
Mm-hmm. And leaders, as you're leading this, to take a step back, I think we're out of frame. Yeah. As you're doing this turn, I'm not just going bit, and I'm not pushing really, but I'm going to use kind of a half of a second, boom, to guide in a circular motion, so that Sam is going to go through it, but all of the energy from it comes from this, the fact that she's traveling forward and pressing against my hand. Now, if we do that same thing, but travel down the line as we're leading it, it's going to become a J hook, where you describe it with J with the hand, and the follow is going to travel that way as she spins. It looks like this. 1, 2, 3, and 4, 5, and 6. Boom, ba, da. That becomes an 8-count move. Becomes an 8-count move when the leader gets back onto the line again. From a different angle, looks like this. And 1, 2, 3, and 4, 5, and 6, 7, 8. So you can chain that together with a tuck turn. Looks like this. So 1, 2, 3, and 4, 5, and 6. So 1, 2, 3, and 4, 5, and 6, 7, 8. Boom. Stuff. So that's what we did this week. Great. Hope to see you next week for more Lindy Hop.